work, please. So now, before the final remarks, I would like to open the floor to discussion on future work, beginning with my topics that I think it could be on your mind for the future work. The first of all is the topic that we have talked about, and it is the communication that now must be cross-cutting, embedded in every stage of our work. I think it could be an interesting topic for us to discuss and bring in the next meeting to see how NSOs has treated this interesting topic and embedded this communication along the whole production and dissemination process. The other one, it would be the possible change between search engine optimization and generative engine optimization, and the subject we spoke about being data ready and all the transformation in our society. So I think it could be, in my opinion, and I would like to hear from you and my colleagues, the future topics that could be in our mind. Anyone would like to say a few words? Yes? Future topics now. Future topics for everyone. I'd like to hear from the audience and also from the session organizers if they have anything to add or to comment on my options that I gave you, please.
If no one wants to jump in, I could just. I thought about future works. Really, I tried to prepare, but then I thought, we will meet next year at this time. So, of course, I think we have a good few topics that we should stick on, like trust. I expect that trust will continue to be a future work topic, and so is AI. Social media, yes, maybe, probably. I don't know how far will AI go until then, and maybe social media. I read some surveys about that the use of social media decreases partly, a little bit, so I'm not sure. I think for me it would be good to just maybe we focus on the topics that we want to stick on, even though everything might change. So I would suggest topics trust and AI, because I think these will stay.
Hello to everyone. After to be here with all of you for 3 days during so inspirations and presentations, but also on the other meetings that I was participating, looking back a few weeks for the ISI conference, for example, and the IMAO DVC. the subjects are being discussing around the same subjects. So we are more or less discussing the same issues, more deeper in one places, not so deeper on the others. But I think that we are all around the same subjects. So I think that is it's impossible to not avoid to put in the agenda for the next edition something about artificial intelligence, trust, and human connection. We are talking about who is responsible, not what is the role of the AI with the human interaction. So I think that the communication of official statistics in the next digital era, with the interface between AI and human, it's something that should be central in the discussion.
Thank you, Pinto. And Kirsten?
Thank you. I was thinking during these days, and I agree partially with Pinto Martins, because I feel that we are discussing the same things across the different forums, and we have a lot of forums running today because it's easier now to meet with each other online. And my feeling about this meeting, and I'm very happy about it, I feel that we are more or less, all of us, at the same page. We have new websites, we are running into the social media, we are dealing with problems and doubts on AI. We are all asking ourselves if we go through a chatbot or not, or if we are going through different approaches. And, well, my suggestion is not just about the topics that we should cover in 2 years, because my feeling is that in 2 years a lot of things change, so I cannot tell you now what would be the main problems in 2 years in communication. Maybe we will have a new social media, a new mindset, new ways of consuming information, so I'm not there, I'm not ready to answer the question. But maybe I would suggest to, instead of having these broader topics, just to select specific topics and select countries that are ready to contribute and share experience in these specific topics. So instead, I think that just talk about AI is too broad. It's impossible to discuss AI in today meetings. So maybe we should hear from you the specific problems, the specific concerns, and have more time to discuss, because I think that the dynamic groups were really fruitful, because for me it's very interesting to hear if some countries are just producing a one-page press release or not, and hear the arguments from both sides, and it helps me to decide in my daily life what apply and what makes sense to my country, to my audiences, and make me think on different approaches to make my work. So maybe instead of just sharing everything, because we are just so happy because we have a lot of developments, maybe to go directly to some specific points, share less presentations and discuss more and deeper, and maybe compromise with some actions to develop and to present the results in 2 years.
Yeah, building on top of what Ligia said, and we didn't rehearse this, but I really would like to hear from the audience, and I think that a good question, at least for me, I can answer to you directly, is what keeps us awake at night in statistical communication? What is that thing that keeps you awake at night? Because because that would definitely would be one of our priorities. If you think that's a bad idea, then just don't answer. Okay. Yeah, exactly. We have one view here. Thank you.
I do sleep very well at night. But one of my big worries is misinformation, disinformation, fake news, and everything, and that's of course very much connected to many of the issues we have here about trust and statistical literacy. And I was thinking, because we were talking about statistical literacy being aimed both at school, at students at school, but also at the general population. And I'm thinking we measure everything, but the thing about how can we measure statistical literacy in the general population? What should the criteria be? Not an exact methods, but maybe some of the things that are important to measure. How could we do that? That would be interesting for me to learn if some countries had experiences with this.
Yeah, great idea. Love that. Any more views?
Just, I'd like to bounce off that because I think it's important that we look at what we're measuring, because with the changes, the measurements have to change. For instance, all of us know the web traffic's going down to the website, so and we need to be found in AI. So I think, and the perception on social media audiences, it would be good to focus on what type of indicators we should be looking at and how that should evolve, potentially tools that are used to collect information and how people are dealing with that. Anyone from the... We're here to listen to you because we want to make sure this addresses the topics you're concerned with.
One more point, just building up on your what you mentioned. How do we measure the impact of our statistics overall? Yeah, not just the communications and dissemination impact. Lygia spoke about cutting series, etc., but how we overall measure the impact of statistics. Is it just pure web metrics, social media analytics, or more to be considered?
There was another question.
Hi. I thought that the discussion about what people were not doing or were doing less of was really instructive, because we all talk about what we are doing because that's the focus. But I found that really interesting, and I'm sure a lot of organisations are in similar situations with being cash-strapped and having to make harder and harder decisions about prioritisation and resources. And so I don't know if there's any way of unearthing that more, because some of the current conversations seem to be around doing less, and in some cases that worked really well because it wasn't having a damaging impact. So understanding some of those things better feels like a kind of profitable line of inquiry, bearing in mind where we all are and we can't do everything.
Yeah, I was actually going to say more or less the same thing as Joe, is that it's really inspiring to learn of people's successes, but you sit there wondering what are they not doing in order to, either go really all in on social media or AI, or it's just, what priorities have you made in order to be able to sort of turn out these new things, successes. So I would like to hear more about that as well.
Sorry, I talk a lot. I'm just thinking here, hearing the people and about statistical literacy. When I made my presentation, I used the expression that for us, statistical literacy, for me at least, is a passion, not a duty. In fact, the organizations, several different organizations are doing so similar things that I think we are losing resources, repeating it across so many places, ISI, UNES, Eurostat, and so on. Why not and all of them are doing more or less the same kind of things. Okay, thinking on not reinvent well and use the best ideas and best solutions, why not to give the commitment to UNESCO, because it's an international one, it is a world organization, to they already have it, but to reinforce it as a resource, a catalog, or that repository of all the things that can be shared and reused. Not only shared, but reuse it for other entities. And each one could be improved more and more in different language, different technologies, why not? But the things are changing so fast. The world is changing so fast. Perhaps in 2 years we have here one robot talking, a humanoid, talking instead of us, make a kind of presentation, a different one just to show how it is the relation between a machine and a person. I don't know, it's just thinking, and you know that when a man thinks, the world advances, so why not?
Thank you, Pinto. Any other issues? No? So I'd like to ask the session's organizers to tell us, if you can, what interested you more, what surprised you more in this conference. 1 minute only. Who wants to begin?
Session 1.
No. What surprised you and interested you in all conference? Just a few topics to highlight something that came to your mind that you were not expecting, or that surprised you, for example.
Once again. So, because I'm a lazy person, I have decided to make an experience and to put all the contents of this meeting, all the papers, all the programs, some insights that I take from myself and so on, and ask to ChatGPT to give me some takeaways to tell to them. So I have only 2, so I summarize, I just refuse all of them and I summarize in 2. But I think that is good statements for today. The balance between innovation and credibility defines the future of statistical communication. We no longer communicate data, we communicate understanding. And finally, trust grows where clarity meets empathy. I think that can summarize much of what we have talked those 3 days here. The empathy, the clarity, the comprehension, and so on. And more than that is not data, is understanding, because the literacy. So I think that is my contribution.
Now then, I can say what surprised me is that how present ChatGPT was in this conference, because I remember that the last time we met, I guess we didn't even mention it. So, and now we're all using it frequently. So,
I kind of agree with that. I'd also say I think it, I guess, it's not a big surprise, but it's also something that I hadn't reflected on so much. But the examples that were given in this conference about the need for communication to be considered from end to end, from the very beginning of the process, is something that we all need to be aware of. And I think we tend to not give that enough focus in the organizations.
Well, to me, it was quite surprising to see the unbridled enthusiasm that all of us here are sharing what we do and putting the public in public institutions. We heard a lot about this, and I think that that depends essentially on all of us, that we do this with producing content for the users. And to me, it was quite interesting and surprising to see this unbridled enthusiasm, because we are most of the time perceived as very grey institutions. So it was quite surprising to me see how people are enthusiastic about all the things that they do. That's, I would say, the main takeaway, because I'm also very enthusiastic, as some of you might know me. So thank you for that.
personally, it was my first meeting in a long while. And what surprised me the most is how aligned all the NSOs and institutions are. Like, we share the same problematic. We are not all at the same stage in answering to them, but basically the issues are the same, and the way we try to answer them seems to be fairly similar across the organization. And I thought it was interesting because I was expecting a bit more variety, seeing such a diverse audience. So that was interesting.
Well, it's so nice to meet you, because I was telling Luis that 10 years ago, more or less, when we attended the first meeting, it was so hard to find someone who believes in this function. And now it's really, really nice to see all of you in different stages, some of you doing a lot of work. And okay, for me it's not the same. We produce statistics because we need to do it, but each time we spend our time going to the school or thinking on a way to make our statisticals more accessible, understand this is not just a job. It has to be some bigger, some passion, put people in first place, put the users in the center. So it means that we have a heart. So no ChatGPT, no robot will replace us, because there's something here in what we are doing that it's very special. And for me, it's really, really nice to see some of you coming for the first time and saying that and recognizing that we are just starting, but we want to do something and we want to learn with each other and we want to do something better. And I think that it's something that it's very beautiful. And at least in Central Bank, we sometimes are seen as the bad guys because we supervise the banks and so on. But there are so many things that we do that they are so beautiful when we think on other people and we teach something to the others. And this is, nothing keeps me asleep, but it gives me energy to wake up every morning and go to the work. Thank you very much.
Okay. So I guess I'm the youngest member of this organizing committee. For me, it is the first time to participate in such an event and in such a committee. So it was a really pleasure and honor to be with you in all this trip, approaching this event. And I assume that Greece is the first time that hosted such an event. So it was a pleasure to have you all here. And on behalf of the President of the Hellenic Statistical Authority, we would like to thank you all for your staying here. I hope that you enjoyed Greece. As far as our expert meeting, I would like to say that it is a great pleasure to be among communicators, because we used to be among such statisticians. And I usually say clearly from the beginning that I am not a statistician, so you have to explain to me what the methodology says, what the data mean, because it's not clear all to me. So you have to say to me. But it was a pleasure to be with people that understand this point of view. So I share the same enthusiasm with you, and I really am looking forward to the next meeting. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you all for your comments. So, I would like only to do some remarks for you to go home thinking a little bit more of real talk. So, before I close, I would like to thank all our speakers, participants, organizers, and everyone who contributed to this conference. Thank you very much. We have exchanged so much knowledge, had meaningful discussions, and reached conclusions that will certainly guide our future work. The role of communication teams was always important to us, and we know what to do in our jobs. But NSOs, as an entity, are realizing that these functions are expanding. Communication within National Statistical Office is evolving, from simply informing to engaging and listening. Communication, as I said, must be cross-cutting, embedded in every stage of our work, from data collection to production and dissemination. In this meeting, we were reminded that trust is fragile, yet with consistency, strategic communication and openness to learning from our challenges, we can turn difficulties into opportunities for improvement, expanding the dialogue within the institution. To prevent misinformation, we must teach critical thinking, promote statistical literacy, and help users understand how data can improve their daily decisions. We must design products that meet different audience needs and ensure our metadata and data are AI ready. We also discussed the major emerging topic, the generative engine optimization, ensuring that when users ask AI systems for information, the answers they receive are accurate, contextual, traceable to official office sources. This new reality brings both challenge and opportunity for visibility, trust, and reach. Finally, our mission remains the same: to make official statistics something people want to use, want to understand, and above all, trust. Thank you all for your attention.
Yes, just another final remark, and then you can leave. No problem. So, thank you again to the chair. Maybe we can applaud a little bit. To the organizing committee. And of course to all of you for coming here. So thank you again. Just a few final messages. You all have received evaluation questionnaire of the meeting. Please fill it in. It's important for us, for the ELSTAT, and for our future events. So please provide comments if you have. You also received list of participants, so you know who you are. You can contact each other and communicate. And you have link to the photo drive. So please, you can check them already. More photos will be added next week. We have apparently hundreds of photos that will be shared, so we need to just to get through them, to sort them out, and to upload them in the right place. The link will be valid until the end of the year, then we will delete it. So if you want to save it on your device. And also, I was asked to mention that there will be a marathon on Sunday in Athens. So there will be traffic disruption on Saturday and Sunday if you're living on those days. Metro is the preferred and safer option. Okay, if you have any questions, please address colleagues from ELSTAT. And not to forget, a huge thank you to Anastasia and Katerina and their team for making it happen.
Sorry, last remark. I forgot. If your country is interested in joining the organizational committee, please contact Ines, Tatiana, and Yinkyung. And if you'd like to host the next meeting in more or less 2 years, please and show your country, please contact UNES. Thank you very much all.